All right, ready to dive into some French grammar.
Absolutely.
Today we're tackling the causative construction with faire.
Ah, yes. Faire plus infinitive.
I know you're aiming for that pronunciator certificate, and this is key for that.
It's a big one.
Yeah, this is, when you're not just saying someone does something, but someone makes someone else do it.
Right.
Like it adds a whole nother layer.
Exactly. It's a whole new level of expression in French.
Walk me through it.
Sure. So, like you said, it's faire plus the infinitive.
Okay.
So, for example, he makes her repair the bike.
Okay.
You would have the conjugated faire, which would be fait in this case, and then the infinitive réparer, to repair.
Quoi?
And so you'd have il fait réparer le vélo.
Okay, so we conjugate faire based on the subject
and the tense, and then just tack on the infinitive.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it works in all the different tenses too. So imagine you're telling a story in the past, like they made me sign the document.
Oh.
So then you would have ils m'ont fait signer le document.
Okay, so it's past tense faire.
Exactly.
Plus the infinitive senior.
Yep.
Okay.
And then for the future, same idea.
Okay.
So if you wanted to say she will make him do his homework.
Okay.
It would be elle le fait faire ses devoirs.
Well, to faire.
To faire, yeah.
That's powerful.
So there you have future faire, and then faire again, and then ses devoirs.
Okay. It can't always be this straightforward though, right?
Right.
You're right.
There's got to be something.
There's some tricky areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of those is past participle agreement.
Oh.
Because
yeah, right.
in French, as you know, you have those past participles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They sometimes have to agree with the direct object.
Right.
But with faire, it's a little more nuanced.
Okay, this is where I usually get tripped up, so I'm all ears. So basically, agreement only happens if the direct object comes before the infinitive.
Okay.
So for example, he had it repaired. If it refers to the bike, you would have il l'a fait réparer.
Okay.
So the direct object, il, representing the bike, comes before réparer. So you have the agreement.
Okay.
But if you say, he had the car repaired, it'd be il a fait réparer la voiture.
Okay, so no agreement because la voiture.
Exactly, because la voiture, the direct object, is after the infinitive.
Okay, so the placement.
The placement is key.
Of the direct object.
Exactly.
Changes whether the past participle agrees to agree.
Yes.
Okay, this is the detail I have to burn into my brain for this pronunciator exam.
Yeah.
So negations.
Yes.
Do we just follow the new pas rule?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
Thank goodness.
You just sandwich faire between the new and the pas.
Okay.
So if you wanted to say the parents don't make them clean the room, it would be les parents ne font pas nettoyer la chambre.
All right. So negations are easy, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling reflexives are going to be a little more challenging.
A little more, a little trickier. Yeah, they are a little bit trickier, but they're so important for expressing actions done to oneself or for oneself.
Okay.
So for example, she's getting her hair cut.
Okay.
So in French, you would use the reflexive pronoun, right, to show that she's not cutting her hair herself.
Right.
So it would be elle se fait couper les cheveux.
Okay, so we've got the se faire.
Exactly.
Faut couper the infinitive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she's arranging for this to happen.
Exactly. And then don't forget that sometimes it's it emphasizes that the action's being done for the subject.
Okay.
Like, for example, he's having a suit made for himself.
Okay.
So in French, you would say, il se fait faire un costume.
Oh, so the se there is emphasizing that this suit is for him.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, who's benefiting from this action?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so reflexives, another layer to add on.
Yep, but once you get the hang of them, it really opens up your expressive powers in French.
Okay, so we've done basic structure, we've done past participle agreement, we've done reflexives. What about modal verbs?
Ah, modal verbs.
Those are on the pronunciator certificate too, so I've got to know.
Absolutely, yeah. So modal verbs like, devoir, to have to, and pouvoir, to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
They add this sense of obligation or possibility to the causative construction.
Okay.
So must or can. Basically.
So instead of someone making someone do something, it's like they're obligated.
Exactly.
Or they're allowed to, or...
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, if you wanted to say, the teacher makes Paul write an essay, that would be le professeur fait écrire un essai à Paul.
Okay.
But if you wanted to say, the teacher, forces Paul, then you would use a stronger modal verb, like obligé.
Okay.
And so then you would say, le professeur oblige Paul à écrire un essai.
Okay, hold on. That second one,
Yeah.
it doesn't have faire in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
But when you use a verb like a modal verb like obliger, which already implies like the making someone do something, then you switch to the structure with and the infinitive.
Okay, so it's like the modal verb is taking over the making.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't need the faire in there anymore.
All right, I'm liking this. So modal verbs, check. I'm ready for the next challenge.
Okay. All right. So are you ready for the subjunctive mood?
Oh, the subjunctive. All right. Maybe a little refresher before we jump into how that works with the causative faire.
So the subjunctive mood, as you know, is all about expressing uncertainty, desires, suggestions, influences. It's that what if, or I hope that, as opposed to the indicative, which is just like facts.
Right. And I remember all those subjunctive conjugations always tripped me up, but I think I'm ready.
Okay, so for the causative, think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to get your friend to try escargot.
Oh.
You might say, like, I'm going to make you taste these escargot.
Okay.
So in French, to get that, like, persuasive intent, you would use the subjunctive.
Okay.
Je vais te faire goûter des escargots.
So it's like, I'm going to exert my influence to make this happen.
Exactly. And that's just one example. It pops up in all sorts of causative constructions, especially when you're expressing desires or influence over someone else's actions.
Got it. Okay, so we've got the modal verbs, we've got the subjunctive. Is there anything else I should know about faire to like really knock it out of the park on that pronunciator exam?
Well, there's a few more like nuances to explore.
Okay.
For example, did you know you can even use the causative to show like an action in progress?
An action in progress. So like someone is making someone do something as we speak.
Exactly.
Okay, how do we do that?
Yeah, so if you wanted to say, for example, he is making her clean the kitchen right now.
Okay.
A simple faire plus infinitive wouldn't quite capture that, right? So to really emphasize that in the process aspect, you would use faire plus entendre plus infinitive.
Okay.
So it'd be il a fait en train de nettoyer la cuisine.
So the en train de is like handling the in progressness.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm making a note of that. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how like versatile and nuanced this faire plus infinitive construction can be.
Yeah, it's deceptively simple looking.
It is.
It's like, oh, faire plus infinitive, easy.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, there's always like another layer to uncover.
This has been a great second part of our deep dive on faire.
Yeah.
My brain is definitely feeling a little bit full from all this causative goodness.
Good.
But also excited to put it all into practice.
Good.
I have a feeling part 3 is going to like really tie everything together.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll recap everything and then give you some final tips to really make sure you're prepared.
Sounds good. Okay, so back for the final round of our causative faire deep dive.
Yes.
I feel like my brain is ready to solidify everything and like really get ready for that pronunciator certificate.
Yeah, we've covered so much.
Yeah.
From the basics to, past participle, agreement, reflexives, modals, the subjunctive.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for any final like tips or advice.
Okay, well, one thing to remember is it's just as important to know when not to use the causative faire.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, just because we're focusing on it doesn't mean we have to use it everywhere.
Exactly. It works best with, actions that can be controlled or influenced. So you wouldn't use it for, like, involuntary actions or, like, natural processes. Like, you wouldn't say, like, I made the sunrise with causative faire.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It's about understanding when it's the right tool for the job.
Yeah. And when it's not. Exactly. And another thing, it's a bit of a nuance, but it often comes up on the pronunciator exam, is that the causative faire can create this sense of distance between, like, the person who initiates the action and the action itself.
Okay.
So, for example, like, if you say in English, I had my hair cut, you're implying that someone else did the cutting. Right? You didn't cut your own hair. So in French, it'd be like, je me suis fait couper les cheveux.
So it's like, I'm delegating.
Exactly. It wasn't me, it was someone else.
Yeah, okay. So we've covered a lot. Is there anything like, I don't know, major takeaways that I should really drill into my brain before that exam?
Okay, so first and foremost, the structure faire plus infinitive
Right.
conjugate faire,
Mm-hmm.
add the infinitive.
That's the foundation.
That's the basis. And
Yeah.
then past participle agreements.
Okay.
If the direct object comes before the infinitive, then you need agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we talked about negations, the reflexives,
Yeah.
how those add the different layers of meaning, the modals, subjunctive,
Yeah.
to add the obligation, possibility, desires.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, but,
But I feel good about it.
good. And remember, you can always practice on Pronunciator.
Yes, that's a good point.
The library module is there for you
That's a good reminder.
to test yourself.
Yeah.
And, the more you practice, the easier it becomes.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Good.
Any last words of advice before I go and take this exam?
Just breathe
Okay.
and trust yourself.
Okay.
You've got this.
I've got this. All right. Thanks so much for taking me through this deep dive.
You're very welcome.
On the causative faire, I feel so much more prepared for that pronunciator certificate. And to all our listeners, bon chance with
And
all your French grammar adventures.
Exactly.